Today we're reading Acts 17, verses 1 through 15. Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul, as his manner was, went into them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures, opening and alleging that Christ must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Jesus, whom I preach unto you, is Christ. And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks a great multitude, and of the chief women not a few. But the Jews which believed not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort, and gathered a company, and set all the city in uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out to the people. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also, whom Jason hath received, and these all do contrary to the decrees of Caesar, saying that there is another king, one Jesus. And they troubled the people and the rulers of the city when they heard these things. When they had taken security of Jason and of the other, they let them go. And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night into Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the Scriptures daily, whether those things were so. Therefore many of them believed, also of honorable women which were Greeks, and of men not a few. When the Jews of Thessalonica had knowledge that the word of God was preached of Paul at Berea, they came thither also, and stirred up the people. And then immediately the brethren sent away Paul to go, as it were, to the sea. But Silas and Timotheus abode there still. And they that conducted Paul brought him unto Athens, and receiving a commandment unto Silas and Timotheus for them to come to him with all speed, they departed. So in this passage we find Paul, Silas, and Timothy in Thessalonica. They spent several weeks here, at least 3 based on Luke's record, possibly even more. Many people are believing, both among the Jews and the Greeks, and both men and women. But as you can imagine, the Jews who didn't believe found Paul's message offensive. They rejected Jesus as the Messiah and resented the success that Paul's message was having with people. So they got out and gathered up a group to stir up trouble and blame it on Paul. It reaches the point where the mob goes to the place where Paul is staying, but he's not there. The owner of the house, a man named Jason, is taken, along with some of the other Christians, to the rulers, claiming that they are against Caesar with their teaching. Jason assures them that Paul is not doing that and offers some type of security. Whether that be monetary or merely an assurance that he would take responsibility for Paul, we really don't know. But one thing I want us to notice is the accusation the mob makes against Paul and the others. They said they had turned the world upside down. Isn't that so very true? When Jesus came to offer us salvation, he didn't do it with a huge military victory. He did it by letting his enemies torture him and kill him on a cross. That's definitely the opposite of what the world wants in a leader. But just before his death, what did he do? He washed his disciples' feet, telling them that they ought to do the same for each other. That was a servant's job, not that of a great leader. Again, Jesus turning things upside down. And what about our salvation? Our human nature tries to convince us that we need to strive to be good enough to come to God. And Jesus says, quit trying and merely put our faith in him. No, Paul and the others didn't turn the world upside down. Jesus did. But by sharing his message, all believers can continue to have that impact on the world around us. A true impact, different from the ways of the world. Jason and the others get Paul, Silas, and Timothy out of Thessalonica and on to Berea. There the believers get Paul out and on to Athens, where he sends back word for Silas and Timothy to join him. It seems turning the world upside down may also turn our own world, dreams, comforts, goals, upside down as well. Are we up for the challenge?